Hi guys, today we are going to do exercise 20. We are actually going to be creating fabric patterns with this exercise. Before we get to that, I want to show you a couple of different settings with colors. So this is a picture I took somewhere and I'm going to work on this picture a little bit and I'll show you some adjustments you can do. I'm going to duplicate this layer first so that you can see the changes that I'm going to create. So this is our original here, and this is going to be the one that I'm going to make some changes. So if you go to image and you do auto tone, it actually automatically tones the colors a little bit. So this is a good option with your photos if you want to adjust the colors. So this is the original and this is auto toned. Now you can also, let's duplicate this layer one more time. Okay, now this, I'll get rid of this for now. So this is the original photo again. And if you go to auto contrast, it adds a little bit of a contrast. So you can see a slight difference between the original and the auto contrast. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer one more time. And on this one, I'm going to do auto color. And as you can see, it does change the colors a little bit. So you can see the difference between the original and the adjusted one. Now I'm going to delete them all. One other thing you can do is go to adjustments here and you can change brightness and contrast. You can change the levels. The levels are generally, there's this graph here, and if you move this that way, it generally darkens, so it goes more blacks this way. If you move the further one, it creates more whites. And the middle one kind of works with the other colors. So this is one of the level adjustments that you can do. Another really cool one is vibrance. So when you have your original picture and you just go like this, it kind of creates a more vibrant one. So let me get rid of these, and we're on this one. We're going to do vibrance. So you can see that it becomes a little more vibrant. The colors come out a little better. You can also do the saturation of colors. And the opposite will give you a black and white photo. Now, one thing that I want to show you here is you can go to hues, and the hues will change. For example, here you get more blues than pinks and all that. So the hue will change certain colors to other colors. Saturation, again, it saturates the colors or turns them into more of a sepia mode. This one lightens or darkens your picture. So those are some of the things you can do. There's one cool thing with the hue, and I'm gonna get rid of all the adjustments again, go back to our original photo. So on the hue, you can also select the colors that you want to make changes to. For example, if I wanted to make those green areas to be a little more green, I can select green and I can move this. Now the problem here is that even though it is the greenery, it is not necessarily green. So what we need to do here is we need to maybe try yellows, because the computer may recognize this more as a yellow than a green. So now you see the greens come out a little bit. So you can actually make some changes to these, okay? These are some of the adjustments that I wanted to mention to you so that you know. I will also mention a couple shortcuts. For example, if you're trying to zoom in or zoom out of this, instead of going to zooming in and out, you can also do Command plus to zoom in and Command minus to zoom out. Other than that, if you push the space, then it turns into a hand and you can move it with your mouse that way. So this is a good shortcut that I find very useful. So those are a couple things, and as I remember things, I will talk about them. Anyway, so let's get to our exercise now. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to show you an example of this exercise first. We are going to create a fabric pattern. So we are designing fabrics. For this, what you need is motifs. And as a motif, you can use these snowflakes or flowers or stars. So those are part of your pattern. These are called motifs. And the motifs are generally arranged in a network. So in this network, you're kind of creating those motifs, and then you are repeating them this way. And that makes up your pattern. So patterns are made out of motifs that repeat in a certain network or a certain type of arrangement. So this is what we are going to work on now. I'm going to create a new file. I'll actually get a regular printer page. I'll make the resolution 72 for this one. Okay, now we have this. Now, whenever you create something, you can always create a separate layer so that you can move your designs freely if you need to. So you can use the brush tool for this. You can use the shape. I'm going to use the shape. I'm going to select the custom shape tool and select a couple shapes from here. You can also click on here and import more shapes, rows, and I can select my color to be like a red, and try to make your motifs smaller. Don't make them too big. And now I'm going to select a green, and I'm going to use this one. Oh, before I do that though, I might as well just create a new layer so that each one of those are movable separately, so that I can make arrangements. Okay, I have that. I want to create, I'm going to make that here. Again, I need to create a new layer for this. Okay, so I have that. And I want to create blue. And I want this to be on a separate layer. So I'm going to create that right here. All right, I think these are cool. Now I can always move them and make an arrangement of these patterns. Maybe keep it here. Okay, I think this is good. Now I'm going to go to my background. I'm going to select this little section, and I'm going to go define this as a pattern. Okay, we're going to say pattern 1. Now, let's create a new page. We're going to do this, and I'm going to fill this page with this last pattern that we just created. Okay, now we have a fabric pattern. Now, if you want to have a base color on this fabric, what you can do is go to Magic Wand here, and you can click on the white section here, and then go to select similar. So it's basically selecting the white. And now I can go and fill that up with, let's see what color it should be. let's do this. This is a boring color. Let's do this color. Okay. All right. Now deselect. Now I have a pattern. Now, what I want to do with this pattern is I want to use the same fabric pattern, but I want to create different color ways for this. So I go and I'm going to select a section here. Okay, let's make it a little smaller. Okay, and I'm going to copy. And I'm going to create this new layer. And then I'm going to paste it on that new layer. Now, if I get rid of this, you can see it. And while I'm on this layer, I'm going to go to adjustments and I'm going to do hue and saturation. Now, if I just change the hue, it's giving me a different pattern. So let's just do this. Okay. And now I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to move that here. And on this one, I'll do the same thing. If you do these type of changes through these adjustments here, it will change all of your layers. But if you do it through here, it only changes your selection. Okay, so let's make it a more pinkish color. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate this layer one more time and bring it up. And on this one, we go to adjustments, hue and saturation. And let's see what we get. Okay, let's get a more bluish version of this. So we got 3 different colors for this fabric pattern. And now you can just go ahead and save it and you're done. I don't like that my patterns are not so clear. So if you go to this tool here, the sharpening tool, and you can select your size, you can make it bigger. And then on each layer, if you just go over these, it kind of sharpens your pattern a little bit. And I found this to be a really cool option. And I'm going to do the same thing on all of my layers. Sharpen them a little bit. You might be able to go to auto tone as well, and that will tone your colors too. So you can play with this, play with a lot of these different options the way you like, and it will give you a little better patterns. So now I'm going to actually save this one.